All right, everybody, we are live again. Dynasty Mirror Search for Huru, this morning edition of Search for Huru. And I have the brother all the way from Mombasa, Kenya, brother Grandmaster, brother amenkrahh. And today's topic is 5 signs that America has done with Black people. A little bit about amenkrahh. Brother amenkrahh is from LA, from Cali, moved to Kenya about 25 years ago. I always get it wrong. Is it 25 years now?
22.
22 years ago. 22 years now in Mombasa, Kenya. So, brother amenkrahh, now you came up with this topic. Let's start with number one. What's number one? Or just in no particular order. Like, what's number one? 5 signs that America's done with Black people.
Okay, the number one is the eroding and the disappearing of Black-owned businesses or Black businesses or businesses that Blacks are generally a major part of. So we're beginning to see these signs of businesses that have been historically for Blacks eroding. Well, we're not beginning to see it. Actually, it's been going on now for about 15 years. And we're just now starting to see that. And so some of the latest examples are, of course, Johnson's Publishing.
Right.
I'm old enough to remember Ebony magazine and Jet magazine. And like you, Dynas, I used to be able to flip that Jet magazine open right to the beauty.
Jet Beauty of the Week. I was talented. I could flip it, open it up, bam, Jet Beauty of the Week.
Yeah, in fact, my sister was also one of the beauties of the week back in the 60s.
I knew a couple.
So, we're seeing the final demise of that, and that is all these trends that we're talking about are signs that are related to the fact that our numbers are seriously reducing, and nobody is talking about that. Nobody is putting that on the forefront. So as long as we don't factor in the fact that we are not 13% or 12% of the population, the same as what Malcolm X was saying, the same as what Marcus Garvey was saying in the 20s, 10%, 12% of the population. You can go back to their speeches and they keep relating to that. We have not grown in percentage-wise. No, in fact, we are actually dying out. And this is the cause of this is part of this cause of the signs that we see. I mean, if there were Blacks and we were really prosperous and we were expanding in number, there's no way that Johnson Publishing could go out of business. I mean, but unfortunately, just like General Motors, which was a large employer of Blacks and actually allowed us to dominate in Detroit, they were gone. And in fact, they were actually a major sponsor of Ebony magazine. You could always open up an Ebony magazine and see if an advertisement about Cadillac or General Motors cars, Buicks. But all these things that we were dominating in are now going away because of the fact that we are reducing in number.
So someone in the chat room says, as far as Black businesses decreasing, it has more to do with Black people not supporting Black-owned business. What are your thoughts on that?
It's not that okay. That's true. We're not supporting our businesses but we've never really did that. Not since Martin Luther King days that we've really been supporting Black businesses like that. I mean, I'm guilty of it too, because I can go to a small, I forgot the name of that shopping mall in LA, but it was like a Black-owned shopping mall. It was really small, But when they have Fox Hills Mall come up, I was like,
Slauson Flea Market.
okay, Slauson Flea Market is Koreans.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
I'm saying, there was a little shopping center. It was mainly black owned, but I'm guilty too. So our quality, even back then, could not keep up with the I don't want to say white man, but I mean, the American, non-black business people. They could get loans. They could have large, um, get large capital to build fancy establishments, and of course that drew us to it, just like it would draw anyone. So if I had visitors coming out of town to visit me in LA, I wouldn't take them to that mall. I'd take them to Fox Hills Mall or Baldwin Hills Shopping Center.
Well, Baldwin Hills Shopping Center now that's the shopping center is black owned.
Yeah, they keep saying that. I remember when it was May Company in Broadway, and then they destroyed it down. There used to be Temple Number 27 there. They destroyed that, and then they built that mall. They say it's black owned, but I don't know. I mean, you really can't trust. You really can't trust what they tell us. But I'm saying, even if it's black owned in the surrounding areas, there, you got the jungle. Back in the day, that money wasn't translating into the community as such. It's the same thing here in Kenya. If you see a business that's owned by an Asian, you see it, maybe his family, his wife is working around in the background. You can see them. That money that you pay is going for their kids' education, and not an African's or a Kenyan's education. But I mean, that's it's okay for a percentage wise, but today we don't even have something to challenge the mainstream economy, as far as black businesses are concerned. We're dying out, and that capital is not even there. So we don't even have a choice. It's like Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles. You go there today, you can be sure a Mexican is the one that's going to be cooking your waffles and chicken. So it's not we're losing on that, and we should not try to fantasize that we're there. Okay, we really should be beyond that point. Like, oh, I know a black business somewhere. No, it's not enough. And this is one of the biggest signs that we are failing, and that the system is pretty much done with us. It's like we're at the point of no return, economically wise, as far as black businesses are concerned. So yeah, that's number one.
How do you feel about I think we spoke on this before. So in that on the Crenshaw strip, of course, you had the Nipsey Hussle situation, and he owned that whole entire little shop.
No, because it may be true, because I surely investigated into that, and the reports I got was he owned that shop and part of another shop, but he didn't own the center. So the whole center, no, he didn't own that. He only owned that shop. That's the reports I got. Now, I don't know the paperwork. I don't know the inside story. People are saying like he owned the whole. I think that's just rumor, because reports I got from back 2 years ago when he was first buying it said that he bought that shop.
No, he owned the whole shopping center.
Okay.
Yeah, he owns the whole shopping center.
Okay, but I mean, so all those shops was paying him rent. Okay. Because I didn't ever hear anyone say like that until recently after he died that he owned the shopping center. But before that, even out of his own interview, he said he bought this shop. He didn't say he bought the whole center. So anyway, but I'm saying, okay, that's only one example. If someone can prove me wrong, it's okay, but that's still only one example. The fact of the matter is there's not many shops that we own in that area. And we
Here we go. We got the mall is black owned. Doolin's, the soul food restaurant. Then you got the Muslim spot right up the street, the black Muslim spot right up the street. I can't think the name of it. Uh, let's see here. There's a couple. I know the rib spot. There's a black owned rib spot. I know he has a location in Lamert Park and a location right on Crenshaw. Uh, and then
yeah, I know. Well, you know what? This is and surely we're not going to spend the show on going back and forth on
true,
who
true,
owns
true.
what.
Yeah, no,
We don't know. But I'm saying something is wrong. I think we can agree on that. And the black community that we had is now becoming majority Mexican. Mexican, yeah. Is it the Mexican American?
right,
Yeah. And we're moving out of these metropolises and communities. And today, not only am I saying it, but other people are also saying it. They're starting to say there is no black community. And Watts, South Central, I was there in South Central in 1996, 95.
right,
The name of my martial arts school was called the Black Karate Federation. Okay. And in that Black Karate Federation, I started seeing my kids' class become more and more Mexican. So it was 50% Mexicans in my kids' class. That's when I left in '96. So I was experiencing that change because here, at that time, of course, I was black conscious, and then I was loving to be part of something that was Black Karate Federation. I didn't mind having the sign outside saying that, where some of my other instructors, peers, they refused to put that there because they thought it would hurt business. But when I started getting Mexicans in my class, I was like, I'm gonna teach them, and then they're gonna learn, and maybe some of them will reach black belt, but they won't pull the message. The Black Karate Federation was started because of a lot of the cheating that was going on in the sport karate tournament in those days, Chuck Norris days, Joe Louis, those days, Bruce Lee, those days when blacks got into the game, they would fight, and when they scored, they would be cheated. So the Black Karate Federation was formed to give a unity for blacks to help that, and that was the real purpose of it. And of course, it had its problems, but now the whole essence of it, the whole meaning behind the organization, was tainted because of the fact that now Hispanics would come in, whites were coming in, and then you were like, how can the message of the black man is the original person that started the martial arts, which we are. The Chinese learned from us. It wasn't being told by the instructors would decide not to talk about the history of something that we can, the basis of it, because of the fact that it would damage their business with their non-black customers, as we could say. And these are things that culturally destroy us. And I for one fought to keep the black part of it going up until the time when I left. Then they changed the school around and changed it around, and welcomed everybody, but it didn't last.
right.
So, but it didn't last because it wasn't black. It was poor management. But for 10 years, that's what I was doing. And there was a time I had a martial art class, and then these two Asian guys came to the school, and they lined up in my class. So when I walked on the floor to start teaching, all my students, my seniors were standing there looking at me like, okay, now are you going to talk that black stuff in front of the Asians? So they're looking at me sideways, and I'm like, I don't care if these Asians are here. The black man started martial arts. Can they whoop your butt? And can they fight you and beat you? They knew, because how we are. Same in sports, same in football. You know what I'm saying? Don't deny. If you run into the left and the right, and there's a white boy on the corner, and the other side is a brother, you go right to the side because you have a better chance, because we have that skill. That can't be denied. But a lot of people are trying to deny it and now it's at our own detriment. We are very special people with a very special talent, and America has taken advantage of this talent, and we're not speaking up about it. You're trying to assimilate into American culture, so you can't be talking about we make the best runners, we make the best basketball players, we make the best musicians, we make the best engineers, we make the best artists.
Uh-huh.
These are talents that we have, and we have to at this point, uh, as our numbers decrease, they have copied us and mishandled us and misused us and miseducated us so much, we're really losing that greatness. And I say that the only way to get that greatness back is to come to Africa, because, and I use myself as an example. I had a martial arts school for 10 years in the United States. And when I came to Kenya, I ended up having 29 clubs in a federation of schools that I ran and supported. I started the first and only sport karate league of tournaments, not just a tournament, but a league of tournaments that's connected with points. And nobody feathered me, nobody hindered me, nobody stopped me. You know, everybody really supported me.
Hold on 1 second, guys. We have 163 people watching, only 46 likes. Please hit that like button, okay? When you come in the chat room, only thing I ask for is hitting the like button, and if you super chat, I appreciate that too. But please hit that like button. I'll go ahead.
Yeah. So yeah, nobody hindered me. No one, you know. Not like when I was in the United States, you know, the same thing, you know, I go out and advertise, and then the city comes and pulls all my advertisements off the walls and say you owe 10 cents or something like that for every poster that you put up. And, you know, I was like, you know, a city ordinance that no one ever told me about, or, you know, it's only when you do it, that's when they catch you. And then you see, it's like, then you have your peers, your other martial art instructors that have schools. Instead of working with you, a lot of the black ones had self-hatred. They started competing against me. And so I would go to a tournament with like 20 students or 30 students, and they wouldn't support that tournament because I was bringing my people there. They'd go to a different tournament. This is bad, very bad. But this goes through all areas of business as far as blacks are concerned. And it's rooted in that self-hatred. And the self-hatred is rooted in the fear of survival. And that fear of survival has us doing all kind of things. And all of us just look up and say, not all of us, but the majority of us just look up and say, just let me survive. I don't care what happens to anybody else. I'll do whatever it takes, even against my own people, to survive. And there is another big problem that we have. So I think I was on your show the last time, and these people were discussing about my paperwork, and I was like, you know, you saw me, and I was like, look, I know them. I know how haters can be. They can be very dangerous, and I basically was about to say that in the video. And not less than 2 days later, Nipsey Hussle gets shot by some thug. You see what I'm saying? A hater. And this is what I'm saying. We have to really get beyond that. Now, I understand keyboard clowns have to be there. They got to make their little comments. Okay. You know, this one is a bit childish because they're looking for emotions. Okay.
Did you say keyboard clown?
Keyboard clowns. Yeah. Keyboard clowns and keypad jokers. Yeah. So, you know, that's normal. You see them everywhere. It's okay. But there amongst the people in the chat room, there are people who the message is touching, and it could mean a great difference in their life if it could be, you know, from what they listen to and then investigate on their own and come to make a decision on. And I was one of them. You know, when somebody was talking, and you know, these people, they should really realize that when someone is being touched and you're trying to get a message, like the day I was at Temple 27 watching a video by Ashwa Kwesi, and they started talking about the pyramid at the top of the city hall building, the step pyramid, and it really shocked me. You know, So after listening, but now imagine if there was somebody in the background saying, Ashway Chris is bonehead. Oh, he's a stupid fool. Oh, don't listen to him. You see, that
You would have missed the message.
Yeah, you would miss the message, and then it would mess up your life. So when these people start doing these clown comments, some people should not, instead of listening to them like you at a goddamn Dave Chappelle concert, you should tap and say, cool it, stop joking. The message is important, and this is really important. I want to say this, Dynas.
Go ahead.
I know we're getting off topic.
Then we got to get on with the other points, but go ahead. Take your time.
I want to say this point. You people got to really realize this thing with the AODS bullshit. ADOS crap. Listen, the Aborigines in Australia fought the white men, and they lost. The white man nearly wiped them out, killed all the Tasmanians, and murdered them to extinction.
Right.
The white man came into America and wiped out the Indians, North America and South America. He defeated them, wiped them out. He came into Africa, colonized the African. The African said, "Oh, hell no." He didn't say it like we say it, but I mean the African in his language is like, no, that shit ain't happening. And the history books don't tell you the story of how Africans just rebelled. They talk about the Mau Mau a bit, but they don't talk about the way these people came out with hatchets and things and started murdering off white people left and right. And the one thing we have to remember as blacks in America, the African won against the white man and kicked him out of Africa. He kicked him out, told him, you got to go. You understand what I'm saying to you? So let's not talk like the African is somebody that is a weak person. Although they sometimes seem humble, when you get them to that certain point, they can be worse as us when it comes to fighting.
Right.
And so I have seen, they're hard to get mad. It's hard to make them mad, but when they start fighting and get mad, you can watch yourself. Because they do like circus acts on you, buddy. They can fly up in the air and come down on your neck. I've seen it many times. Yeah. You see? And I saw what drove them to be able to pull the white man out of their country. So we in America, the white man has got his foot on our neck, and we keep kicking and struggling, but we're not going anywhere. And right now, we're about to be died off just the same way as the Indians, the same way as the Aborigines, and the same way as some small black cultures. Haiti, these places where he has come and completely annihilated. I won't say eliminated, but annihilated the black culture, the black people that were there in that land. They don't run anything, they don't control anything, and this is the same thing with us here. So when we talk about Africa, and I always say it's the only solution, you should be really not getting on the keyboard and making clowny jokes, but you need to really take a look at it, because right now they're talking about having 53 African countries have decided that they're gonna have a free trade zone amongst all of them. Every country except Nigeria and Gabon. Tell your people in Nigeria to get with it, buddy.
Okay, I'll holler at Bahari. I'll holler at him.
Yeah, and then all the other countries, and I'm sure Nigeria will come on board at some point. But every other African country has come together at the AU and decided to say we're gonna have a free trade zone. These things are happening. And last time I was telling you about the Federation of States that the East African Federation is trying to put together, where they're gonna have one currency through that whole region.
Yeah.
But like I said, this is not something that happens in a lifetime. It's a wave in a direction you can see it. So while these guys are shooting bullets into Nipsey Hussle's body, the African is busy uniting and pulling together and doing business. Okay? So we need to really change our thought pattern and get away from ADOS and get back to ADOA. Okay, African descendants of Africa, because that is where our power lies.
Yeah, the claim with ADOS, this is the issue, Rahh, is that the government, let me finish, I know what you're going to say. The government has a debt to the descendants of enslaved Africans here in America. Now, a lot of people said, well, see, I think what's disingenuous are many people, especially Black immigrants who come to America and benefit off of the sacrifices that Black Americans made, but then turn around and tell ADOS that what they're doing is all in vain. But they left their countries to come over here.
Okay, and that's another thing. Please, nobody has the statistics on how many Africans have come and went back. I already checked. The government said they don't keep a record of who leaves. So first of all, the number of Africans that come, and I used to bring Kenyan sports guys for sports karate to the United States to compete. I have brought my students, trained my students in Kenya, put them on a plane. They went to the U.S., went to Las Vegas. Barbara Witz is there, tournament in Las Vegas. They went in, they met her, they played in the game, and they beat everybody in the place. So I don't think that people should just take me like I don't know what I'm talking about. I have taken Africans who wanted to go to America, and I have interviewed them thoroughly, meaning almost 100 of them. Most of the majority of the things that they say that they want to know about America. Now, keep in mind, now this is an African that wants to go to America. He's never been. He's never stepped foot. He don't know nobody that's there. The only thing he has is the movies.
Right.
The only thing he's if you can, 100% of them will say, I saw America and I only saw it in the movies.
Right. No, I agree with that.
Now, this is what drives them, because at that time, imagine I got a 22, 24, 25-year-old person really saying, you mean if I fight in the tournament and I can go, you can get me a visa and I can go to America? Yes. I can't get you the visa, but I mean, I can get you the interview and set you up, give you an invitation letter and you can go to the tournament. Yes, okay. They don't get, their whole concept comes from watching movies. They don't have, so it's only when they get there that they realize the real America. And for some of them, it's too late. Once they get there, they were like on a one-way trip, because their family also believed, that generation, which is now dying off, believed that America was the end all. And you have to know another thing about Africans. They have culture and tradition. And part of being somebody that is prominent in your community is when you can say, my son or my daughter is in the U.S.
Study, right.
Okay? Or my son, my daughter's in the U.K. They don't give a shit about their kid. I don't mean it like that, but they don't give a shit about their kid. When the kid get there and call home and say, Mom, I don't have a place to stay, and Mom, it's too hard, I want to come home. The African parent is going to say, don't you dare come back. And the reason why, let's get to the real now. Let's be real. The reason why the parent says that is because their standing would be embarrassed in the community if the child went to the U.S. and wasn't successful. So you see an African in America standing there struggling, is because he got pressure. Not because America is all great and got jobs everywhere and got money for them. You don't see the African, the 300, the 1 million, or was it 300,000, 3 million African immigrants in partying all the time in America. No, you don't. You see them working hard, send money back home. Now you go up and interview, you don't tell them about, okay, you're in America with us black people now. What you're gonna benefit from America. He gonna look at you. Oh, he won't laugh, but I'm saying I'm gonna laugh for him because I know what he's thinking. He's like, you fool! I'm not here because the place is nice. I'm here because I want the money. And we as Black Americans also need to understand about the money. Now, if you're here in America and you're wondering what would happen if you go to Africa, okay? Now let's say a dollar, you got a dollar, US dollar is worth $30 in Kenyan money. That means if you go with this dollar to Kenya, it automatically becomes $30. So if you go there with $300, you got $3,000. You get what I'm saying?
Something like that.
You'll be flying there. You'll be flying. You'll be swimming there. You see, because your money is going to triple in value. You understand? Now, this is what the African is facing in Africa. He's seeing his African money, like the Kenyan shilling, is 100 to $1. You know, falsely put together, as WikiLeaks had pointed out, but that's what also drives them. So please don't think like the African is in your country because you got a good country. That's bullshit. Total.
No, they're here to make money because the opportunity.
Yeah, they're here to make money. They're not here because they got a better life.
Find good country. You know, that's the thing. Because I mean, they're.
I get what you're saying.
I've heard Africans say America is a great country, a good country. So
it ain't a great country when they know it when they get there, and many of them go back, and the government doesn't keep that record. Go check for yourself, and if you find the record, let me know because I know what it's going to look like. Over 50% of them go back. So anyway, the second part of that is Africa got 1.2 billion people.
Oh, so we're on point number 2.
Now, 1.2 billion African people, and they don't. That number is not hardly trying to go to the embassy every day fighting. You don't go see like long people fighting to go to the U.S. begging. No, you don't see that. Okay, so those days of thinking like it's a refugee place and everybody wants to come to America, it is not because they got a better life in America. It's because some Africans take that choice. It's the same like Europeans, same like Chinese, Asians. They go flying around to the different countries. There's a segment of the population in every country that got to go and check out other places. Africa is no different. In fact, the African is a more world traveler. Well, not all of the Kenyans there. You can find a Kenyan everywhere, even in Russia. But in South Africa, you can't find South Africans. They don't like to travel. But that's my point. You know, we need to stop thinking like that question of why should I go to Africa when the African is trying to come to the United States? Brother, the majority of Africans ain't hardly coming to the United States. They ain't like that, okay? And today, as the economy of Africa is growing, they're too busy working and making money to even think about stop what they're doing here and relocating. The fact of the matter is, many Africans come, more of them are going back to their home countries. Okay, so this ADOS idea of that, you know, the African is here to take advantage of America. What part of America he's taking advantage of? You got him sweeping floors. You got him parking your car. You got him serving you food at the restaurant barely. Mm-hmm. So what is that? You see what I'm saying? It ain't like he gonna get past the dead end job.
Hold on 1 second. Hey, Toya D, Nigeria. You need to eat. If you're serious, I'm gonna put my email address in the chat room. Send me an email. All right, go ahead. Send me an email, Toya D. Send me an email. All right, go ahead.
Yeah, so that's why I wanted to say that on the issue of the African. You know, you got a wrong impression of the African. He's very strong. He's the only one who kicked the white man out of his countries. And the fact of the matter is, they're not all trying to rush over here like they're trying to pretend like they find a better life when they come to America. No, the majority of them go back to their country. Stop any African in America and say, "What's your end game?" And he's gonna tell you his end game is to go back home. You see, so home is always best for them, and they have a connection to home that's stronger than we should have, because this ain't our home. America is not our home.
But okay, again, so I'm wrong. We've had this conversation before. So for the Black American that says we built this country, so it's our home, what would be the response?
The response is that you was a slave. You just can't get past that point. That's what slaves do. Okay? There's no sense crying about it. Even the white man was slaves in America. Okay? So it's unfortunate, but I mean, it happens everywhere around. Asians be enslaving Asians, Jews enslaving. If you can get away with it, they can get away. But at the point when you're a slave, you don't own nothing. You can't build the White House and talk about now I can come back to the White House and take it over because I built it. It's the same different rules. That was law. It was law that what black man couldn't read and write. It was law that time was a law. You see what I'm saying? law. You can't go here. You can't go in this. It was into the. I can't say it's in the Constitution, but it was put into the law that you was a slave. You was 3/5. Blah blah blah. That was law. That was the way it was in that day. Unfortunately, today when you look at it, you can't look at it from today's point of view because they can put on video now so many Africans suffering and walking with chains in their back roots and watching all these shows. Oh, you see they hanging them and choking them. You see, you just get a vivid picture of what it was like. But go back there in that day, and nobody would say, you can't come up and say, hey, what you're doing is wrong. It wasn't wrong. It was the law. Okay? You could kill a black person if it was your property. That was the law said that. Okay? So
well, guys, we have 264 people watching, only 119 likes. Please hit that like button, okay? Hit the like button. If you're not super chatting, the least you could do is hit the like button. All right, go ahead. And guys, I turned 37 today. Today's my 37th birthday. All right, go ahead.
Yeah, happy birthday, man.
Thank you. 37.
Yeah, make 38 when it's in Africa.
Yeah.
Party. Buy you a cake.
Okay, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Give me some what it's not suya. What's the barbecue and choma? Give me some choma. Some choma would be good.
Choma. Okay.
Give me some choma.
I like the chicken. But anyway, yeah, so I forgot my point. Damn. What was I saying? Now you made me forget what I was saying.
No, I'm sorry. I apologize.
It's okay. Oh, hey, it's in the evening over here. But it's gonna come back to me. But the whole thing of it is that and to get back on the point anyway, is that we having these signs that the black man is basically about finished. And another issue about this thing of the black man is finished is, and when I was doing this, I was looking, I'm like, hey, this didn't just happen yesterday. This has been going on for a long time. Another sign is that the black male and female relationships, are basically almost at war with each other. And that is the eroding of the black family and the black man's position as an important part of the family is being taken out. So we have to look at these things, and this is one of the most important ones: is the fact that now, as a black man, in America, we have been, kind of like just saying, just kind of going along with these different things that's really pushing us down. So now you don't have to have a black man in a family. Okay, this is something that's not today, but it's been going on for a long time. But can we really take another step back and look at it? Because before it becomes normal, having a family means that you have to have a black man there. And even when I say it now, I know in America you guys feel like that's not necessary. And I know I'm like 70% of you probably don't even know what it's like to have a family father in the home. Because that generation is now coming up like that. But you gotta have it. And I recently, I was in a relationship before the one I'm in now, and the mom and I broke up, and she took my kids and moved to Nairobi. She didn't tell me. Mm-hmm. She was gone. I had no access to my daughter and my son when they were going through boarding school. So now my daughter came up pregnant. Mm. And the mom calls me and says, your daughter's pregnant. I'm like, how can it be my daughter when you took her and decided you were going to raise her on your own? She didn't connect me with that. So, if I would have been in her life, and this is true in Africa, and this is happening in Africa, I'm not the only one. This is what is happening in America. It's just not as prominent in Africa as it is in the U.S. And so here is my daughter now. I have not faced the mom in about 6-7 years. Though we talk on the phone every once in a while. The boy who impregnated her decided he was going to just tell her get an apartment, and we moved together, and without talking to us. And so I decided to go to Nairobi, have a family meeting with my family, and so my kids can see me and the mom sitting next to each other talking, and see like this is a family unit now. And when the boy heard that I had come and we had a family meeting, he immediately changed his tune, got his family together, and they came and picked her up. Made it, the cultural way. They got to bring a contingent there, and then they take her.
Mm-hmm.
But he was about to just take her away because he saw like the family unit was too weak. You see, so this is something that's happening in America that's almost becoming like it's normal, and it's not normal. I'm sorry to say, you need to have a strong black family unit, and that includes a man. And it shouldn't be something that is taken like can be there or it cannot be there. No, it has to be there. The son definitely needs to be a part of uh, have the father in his life. And this is what happened with Bill Cosby. Bill Cosby was on Oprah Winfrey about 10 years ago, and he talked about this very point. And that's when he got all that criticism. And he started going around the country telling you, something is wrong with the black family. You guys are not including the man, and the boy, even if the man doesn't live in the home, should have a connection with his father. And we're seeing the results of that today. And so is Bill Cosby by being put in prison, and people are being skeptical about him. But if you go back to that interview with him and on Oprah Winfrey show and listen to it, you can see he's talking about the very crisis that's causing us a lot of the problems that we have today. And there's no way we're going to have unity if you don't have unity in the family, and you can't have unity in the community without having unity in the family. See, so we as a people are being brought down. These are the signs. And yes, as Bill Cosby said, and I agree with him, it all starts with the family unit. If you don't have a strong black family with a man and a woman and kids, then the rest of it is like a house of cards.
All right, brother. What's I guess we're on to number 3.
Okay, number 3 is definitely the removal of our communities.
Removal of who?
There's no more our community. Black community.
Okay.
The removal of it. Yeah. So, Dynas, can you tell me if there's one black community out there?
Let me ask you. Okay, what makes a black community? What's that?
A black community is where you own the businesses, you own the housing, you own everything but the land, maybe even the land if it's yours. In a radius, like Black Wall Street, They had definite signs that this was a black community, was on one side of the railroad tracks, and the white ones on the other side of the railroad track, and the black side had oil, and they had a lot of black community. So when you put your money when you get your money and you inject it into a store, it goes to the store, to the cleaners, to the cleaners, to the bank, to another black business.
Okay, got it.
That's where your money is circulating.
That's
where your money is circulating.
Yeah, that's a good one.
But you see, we don't have that. Yeah, we don't have that anymore. And without that, how can we have an economy? How can we have a black economy? How can we have? How can we pool our money together? It's like I was saying, you can't open up a black business today talking about being successful without depending on whites or Mexicans to go into your business. And so when you have whites and Mexicans, when you cater to white and Mexican customers, the black part of it can't be there, because that's deemed as like, you favoring blacks, or you prejudice, or however they want to put the thing. So yeah, you get what I'm saying? So one of the signs is that our black communities are gone. They're just now starting to mention it, but about a year ago they were still talking about, these black leaders was coming up, all right, we got to help the black community, and there was no black community, and I'm like, how? You see, you got to get one, but unfortunately, because of number one, business is being eroded, you can't support a black community, and gentrification is there. Now we have become comfortable with that. Blacks are living who knows where. But the statistics I was reading recently was saying that we were 12% of the population, but over 50% of the homeless.
Yeah, well,
Definitely
I know
12%.
for a fact that's the case in LA. Well, LA is actually 6% of the population, but like over like damn near 70% of the homeless. So yeah.
Yeah, as you can remember, Dr. Claude Anderson. I don't know why I always come up with him. Dr. Claude Anderson was crying, started crying on TV, got emotional, started crying in a speech talking about New Orleans, how he saw how blacks were living in New Orleans. So this is going through all over the country. That was about 7, 8, 9 years ago. And now what we're getting is gentrification, which is now taking those people that were suffering in the black community, they're now being pushed out. So without a black community, for those keyboard clowns that are out there, please explain to me, if you don't have a black community, how can you have black unity?
You can't
If you
have
don't
it.
have a black community, how can you have it? The only way you're gonna have black unity is if you move to modern Africa. Now that's my point. Now all these things you hear about going to Africa, blah blah blah, that's all crap. These people are talking about the Chinese, that's all crap. The EU just did a big deal with the Chinese the other day, and they was talking about, watch out, Africa, they're gonna try to take you, they're gonna have you have these, I forgot what they call kind of loans, suspicious loans or something like
predatory, whatever. Yeah, I got you.
The EU today was doing that. And let's not forget that the Pope, the other day, kissing the feet of the African.
Sudanese leader.
I wrote on my blog, Black Man's Guide to Moving to Africa. I wrote and said, that you're fucking too late. Get up off your feet. It's too late. Huh? Now's the time you come kissing the brother's feet. No. And these people that are still hanging on to America, let me give you the insight outside of the propaganda. Both the Prime Minister of Britain and the President of France came to Kenya asking Uhuru to do business with them, like the Chinese did 18 years ago. You see? So if before 10 years ago, it would be unheard of a European president coming to an African country on an official visit. It's like, that's not done. Let the African come to Europe. You see?
Right, and beg, right.
But today, they flying over to, first time France ever came to Kenya. First time visit. What did he come there for? Can we do some business? You see? But it's too late. The Chinese has already took over 70% of the business. Meanwhile, the Negro in America is talking about the Chinese is going to try to take you over. No. You see? That's all propaganda and nonsense. The fact of the matter is, Africa is booming, and the African got his stuff together. He already kicked the white man out, something nobody else has done yet. And we surely haven't done it in the United States. So we should stop trying to make this guy somehow our enemy, or pretend like America is so great that he got to come to America and fight to stay in America. He ain't there for you. Most of the Africans don't even come to America, don't even go to the black community. You're joking. So this ADOS thing is complete nonsense. And we got to get past that. Modern Africa is the only solution to our problems, and it's continuing to be that fact, besides the point of all the propaganda that the white man puts out there. Let me tell you something. You come close.
Okay, go ahead. I'm right here. I'm close. Go ahead. I'm close.
It costs billions of dollars to put all that fake ass propaganda news about Africa. If people don't just, it ain't just somebody type on social media. They gotta put articles on CNN. They got to do certain kind of journalism. They gotta send people out and make false statements. It take a lot of money, and America is willing to put that amount of money in for propaganda to keep you hating Africa, because The white man's number one fear in the world is black people leaving the United States in mass numbers. I'm gonna say it again. Think about it. The white man's greatest fear, not that you're gonna march, not that you're gonna picket, not that you're gonna riot, not that you're gonna sit there and do sit-ins. You see? Not that you're gonna assimilate into his culture. Because he'd rather you assimilate into his culture than for you to turn around, step back, walk out, go out the door, and get on an airplane and fly away forever. Can you imagine what would happen if Bill Cosby or Michael Jackson got up on the microphone and said, "Look, I'm out of here. I'm going to move to Africa and I'm gonna stay there." You know, Dave Chappelle did it, and what you don't know, they gave that boy millions of dollars to make sure he didn't go back and do it again.
Right. It's funny you said that, because right when he came back, all of a sudden he started going back on tour.
Yes, because the guy knew what was up. When Malcolm, you see, when Malcolm X, let's go back again. Malcolm X went to Africa. He stayed for so many months, and everywhere he went, he was being followed by the American government. Why? Keeping in mind that the CIA was definitely implicated in the murder of the first president of Ghana. Martin Luther King came on and said,
Kwame Nkrumah was exiled. He wasn't murdered, but he was. The U.S. government was involved with his exile, though. But go ahead.
In Congo, yeah, I always get that mixed up.
Kwame Nkrumah,
In Congo, it was Congo. But Malcolm X was definitely followed, and they were singing that thing about "Get your hand out of my pocket" when he was in Africa. And when he tried to go to France, they refused to let his plane land in France because they didn't want him to be murdered in France. Because even though they knew that the guy couldn't be coming back to the United States talking about Africans and African Americans connecting. It's a funny thing that you have the ADOS fighting against, they can ask for reparations, but why hate the Africans? You see, they connected that to that. And if we remember, like
it's
4, 5, 6 years ago,
it's only a few to have an issue with Africans. It's not I mean, that's the thing. I think that's where the ADOS is wrongfully stereotyped when they try to say ADOS hates Africans. That's not true.
Okay, but I was listening to some of the Tone Talks videos, and he was definitely expressing that as a connecting point. But I'm saying a few years back, if you can remember, because people's memories are short. You can remember you had the Israelites, Hebrew Israelites.
Yeah, they're cool. They're cool. They're cool.
We ain't African.
Yeah, they're cool.
Yeah, and then you saying we was in America. This group that talking about we was in America before the white man, and I told you that was impossible. It was not here before the white man. There's no cultural evidence. Okay. So that there was a language, that there was a people, that was a building. There's none of that. Okay, now there are going to be some people. There was a building. No, it was no building. Okay, it was nobody there in Pennsylvania, and those freezing temperatures every winter kept people from living there and surviving. It was only until the immigrants came and was able to come in enough numbers to start chopping down wood so that they could survive the winter, that they started establishing North America. And then they had to realize the black man was the only one that could really survive in doing the job. So they ended up having to put him as a slave. Because when they tried to be equal with him back in the 1600s, the white women was abandoning the white man for the black man, which was a normal case. So go do your history, you'll see that there was no such thing as a white man before the 1600s. He created the term, and he had to create that term to distinguish himself from the black man, whom he then started to enslave. And when he enslaved him, what did he do? Chop my wood, clear this field, do like this, and I'm not going to pay you. I'll kill you if you try to get away. So this is the reality of how we began in the United States. And we should get beyond that point. We didn't just like we was living here happy-go-lucky because we wanted to live in New York.
Hold on. Keep going. I'm all right. Keep going. We got to open this door. Keep going.
Nothing like that. No problem. So we have a wrong impression about modern Africa. And that is the case. The fact why I always say modern Africa instead of Africa is because the African has developed his civilization very similar to Western culture, and we can argue the point that Western culture was a copy of ancient African culture, and so you could say Europe got their culture from us, and then we got it back from them. But the culture that we have today in Africa is smooth lines our ability to make that transition. The Western type of lifestyle allows Black Americans who decide to come to Africa to seamlessly move into African culture. Everybody is speak English. There's public transport, like I said before. There's you got rental housing. You go call the landlord and you rent your property. All these things are there in a way that we can easily understand. It's basically shaped off of the way the rest of the world does business. China does business the same way. So if you're like in your 60s or 70s, I mean not 70s, but like if you're in your 60s and you're in retirement money, or if you have retirement money, your lifestyle would almost triple. That means that if you're in a fucking cold ass apartment building in New York, Pennsylvania, or somewhere in the East, and you gotta you can afford one bedroom. If you move to Africa with that same paycheck, which you can transfer over into Kenya shillings, you can live in like a 2-3 bedroom luxury apartment for the same money. And when you go outside, you got the mall, you got the movie theater, you got the beautiful fresh air, you got the wonderful weather. You got so many better amenities that you wouldn't have, that you don't have in the U.S. And the weather is another part. So you get good weather all year round. No smog, no nothing like that. No crime. Okay, not no crime, but I mean crime really reduced. Definitely no guns shooting and no helicopters. And another thing, Dennis, I was saying this about the guest you had on the other day, Super Lady. What's her name? Super.
Who? Super.
The lady,
African superstar.
Yeah, African superstar. Pole. Sorry about that. Yeah, and I pointed out to her when she was in Zanzibar. I said, "Do you see police running around in patrol cars?"
No.
And she said, "No." I said, because the whole concept of patrolling started looking at going through Black communities and looking for Black slaves.
Right.
And if in Kenya, where I'm at now, there's nothing like a regular patrol car running around, answering calls, nothing like that. But if I get a problem, I gotta call. I don't even know the number. You gotta call the police station. You see, because that's rare for you to have a problem. It ain't like on Adam 12 and what's the other TV shows I used to watch when I was coming up. Every minute, 1 Adam 12, see the man, see the woman. When I was doing my ride-alongs with LAPD, yeah, it was like we got into the police car, the 77 division, and as soon as I got in the car, it was like skirt, PCP, another skirt, man with a gun, PCP. The cars were like that. But in Africa, you don't have that. It's just peace everywhere you go. So
yes, we are we on number, go ahead. I'm sorry, go ahead. Oh, it'll be on number 4 now. We'll be on number 4, but go ahead, keep going.
Yeah, so this is what I'm saying, and the problem is that you can't know this unless you come. And since the white man is keeping us down economically, it's really difficult for us to come. So we look on the internet, and he knows you're looking, and they're putting out just as many articles that come out positive about Africa, like the trade union, the trade agreement that's going on with all the African countries. Many people don't know about that. The Federation of States in East Africa. Many people don't know about that. The unified currency situation in East Africa. Many people don't know about that. You see, but you do know about the Chinese is going to take over the port of Mombasa, Have they done that? No. They take over. I want to bring that back up again because they were singing that song so hey, oh, the Chinese is gonna take over. Did they do it? No. They've been doing business in Africa seriously since 2000, 19 years now. Nothing of the sort has happened. It would be ridiculous for the Chinese to come here and exploit the African right behind after what the white man did, and he got his butt kicked. In fact, the matter is, China has a very proud history, which they continually state that they have never subjugated any country. And they're very proud of that fact.
No, they did Taiwan. They did Taiwan, didn't they? Taiwan.
No, Taiwan is not. Taiwan is a free state, and China still considers them part of China. So, not where they came in and murdered off half the population,
grabbed
the big rocks, took over their land. Nothing like that has happened in China. But you guys can keep trying to say it like that. It can, but the fact that the reality remains that the white man has been very aggressive against our people, and the African, which I am an African, came and kicked them out of his countries. And when they did that, they started building up their countries. And I said, look, why am I going to be abused in America? Why am I going to have the history books lie about who I am? Why am I walking down the street and people looking at me like I stole something? Why the police keep looking around and looking at me strangely when I can go to Africa and live and not have none of this problem? You see? So when I talk about this, I'm not saying, because a friend of mine was saying, I mean, you think all Africans, all black people going to go to Africa? No. I'm saying there are a small percentage of us who are listening and trying not to be caught up with the keyboard clowns who are interested in saying this could be a solution. Keyboard clowns, yeah, I'm sure they're there now. So this small percentage of us who, like me, have a great talent, have visions, aspirations, and they find that all these, when they try to do it in the United States, they fail, and they think that it's their fault. There's many of us that are there who keep having economic hardship, and you keep thinking it's your fault. No, that's racism. And racism is a system, and the system says, like, no black is gonna hold a good job more than 5 years. Before they get to 5 years, they got to be removed from that job. This is what happened to me in corporate America. I saw them coming because I was doing my job perfectly, and all of a sudden the supervisor come looking at me talking about, you're doing a poor job, and I'm like, what? So I've seen it, and I have had coworkers, not coworkers, but I have seen other friends of mine and my martial arts students that come to me in private and tell me my job took me for special training. And I heard him say that, and I was like, man, you better watch it, because that's what they do. They put you through special training, and then they fire you. And he was like, no, they need me. And the next, sure enough, So some people out there can understand what I'm saying, because as a black man, especially somebody that wants to excel, you have pride and you don't want to talk about it. But you know what I'm saying. You get this letter in the mail, or you get this email, or your boss does something to you, or they make some sort of change at your job, and you feel it. It's like, that's not right. But maybe they're not doing that to me because I'm black. But maybe they are. And maybe there's a system that's saying they're not going to give you a break. You see? And that's something that we haven't had. When I came to Africa, I got many breaks. I got many people came and said, did you know you can go here and get this place? What? Did you know? Let me show you this. You see? And because the African is not full of hatred. He's not full of, spite and jealousy. So it's not hard for me to get these type of, this type of heads up on things that can help me improve. And, because I'm a talented person, I take advantage of it. And there are blacks that have tried that. And you see, in the system of white supremacy and the system of racism, they cover these angles. You go to court and you're trying to fight a case in court, but they got a rule that says you can't do such and such. Or you go to court and you want to speak, and they tell you you can't speak. You see?
Right.
So you're muffled, and then you're dependent on your lawyer, and your lawyer is in cahoots
It's
with the other
idiot.
lawyer. But you just don't think that. Yeah, you just don't think that that is possible because you still believe in justice. You still believe you're an American, and yet at the end of the day, when you look at your life circumstances, you're less than happy.
Mm.
You in the bed with your woman, and she just got through watching Empire, and all she's doing is sleeping there thinking about all the men in Empire. None of them got a positive relationship with any black woman.
You just said something there.
These shows, these TV shows are poison. If you're not in college, if you're not taking a college course to improve yourself, then the only education you're getting is from the TV. And these shows are full of them. I get them. They come to Africa, and I get like a series from the U.S. We don't have that kind of blackout law, so you can get them all. And then I start watching it. It's like, oh, this is a pretty good series. All of a sudden, somebody knocks on the big guy's door. He opens the door. It's another man. And the other guy grabs him and starts kissing him. And I'm like, God, what nastiness is this? How can they just put this in the TV? Because that's decadence. How you gonna have two black men? It can't be a TV show without two men kissing. This is sickness. I'm watching Star Trek, and this guy Chekhov is working out the door, grabbing his buddy's booty, and I'm like, why are they gonna put this in the movie? Because I remember the time when that thing was not normal. That thing was not normal. Homosexuality, gayism is not normal. But today, this next generation, the one that is going to be poorer than the next generation previous, this is what you see on a regular basis. In the mind, which the white man knows, which the racist white man knows, if it sees something enough times, it becomes tolerant of it. And that's not normal. Because at the end of the day, my fellow Negroes, you're so busy trying to assimilate into American life, you don't realize that the white man is busy adding in homosexuality, adding in pedophilia, adding in all sex with dogs. He's adding all these things in because his whole concept of family life isn't the same as what you got in Africa. Because Africa is the basis of the proper family structure. Let's get that right. The European didn't even know how to bathe before the black men came, and the Moors came and taught them how to bathe and bury their dead. So this, when you find, even if you stay with America and you finally get accepted, let's just say they change their mind after 400 years of whooping your ass, and they take you in, they're gonna be telling you that the normal whole life is that your uncle is gay and your nephew is pedophilia, and it's okay. So you're sitting around the dinner table and Uncle John is talking, boy, I got that guy the other day. I was poking him nicely, blah, blah, in the booty. And, oh, yeah, your nephew said, I saw the little kid and then he came to me and he wanted me to do him. And that would be the talk on the dinner table. I know it's nasty, but I'm saying this is where American life, this is where the American culture is going. While you're busy trying to assimilate into it, take your children and, raise them nicely, this is what they present to your kids. They're putting it in the curriculum of the school now that homosexuality is something to be accepted. And that's like taking an anti-family pill, So this is the case, and we have to be aware of it. We have to stop this silliness with the Chinese and that Africa is bad. Africa is your only solution. It's the only way you can go and eliminate yourself from all these problems. And of course, we need to talk about how to make that transition from America and the debt that I'm in America to an African new refreshed lifestyle. And there's ways to do that. So that was, and actually that's number 5. The destruction of the black family unit and the father-son relations. When you have a separation between the father and the son where they can't really communicate and they don't communicate properly, then the son cannot learn from the father's mistakes. He ends up having to make the same mistakes that the father made. So, my father made mistakes with my mom. And when I tried to ask him about what happened, he told me these stories, but I was like 7 and 8 at the time. I didn't understand them. And then when he got older, he didn't want to talk about it. When I was old enough to try to understand, and I was like, Dad, now you say you and my mom had this issue, and what happened? Then he held back. And one of the things I'm gonna share this with the chat room. One of the things with my dad never lived with me, and I only saw my mom and dad in the same room one time. And whenever he did come to pick me, I was happy as go lucky. And when he got old, we went on a trip, and he took me because he was too old to go on the trip, and I was like happy to go with him. And it was the first time we were alone together, without any interruptions of phones or business or anything like that. We were driving for hours, and he looked at me and told me, the best thing you did was marry Martina, and which was my wife at the time. And I was like, I was ready to, that relationship was terrible. So we started having this conversation, and then I came to realize, to cut the long story short, that he was competing with me. And I was competing for his love, trying to do good in society. And he was competing with me, trying to say, like, your life is not like my life. And of course, I knew his life backwards and forwards. And I was like, Dad, no. I was 15 years old when my mom died. I was the youngest employee at Rockwell International. I went to college full time, and worked full time without a mother or a father. So you can't compare your life with me, because I was busy trying to make you love me, but make you proud of me, thinking that was going to give me love, which you never gave me. You didn't come when I graduated from college. You didn't come when I graduated from the police academy. So, you see, every black man has this issue, this story with their father, and many of us now don't even have any. But I'm telling you, in my life, and I had to mature up really greatly when I came to Africa. I have to really catch myself, because I was raised by my mother, who did a lot of yelling at me. She used a lot of emotion when she was raising me. And so as a man, I started having the same type of emotion. Somebody tell me something, and I'd be like, what? I was acting immature. And I can see that when I come here and deal with Africans, because they're just cool, calm, and collective. You see? And here I am making all these expressions, and I realized that was a lot of feminism in me, because I was raised by 100% a female. We have to start looking at that, because sometimes we act off emotions, us black men, because 70% of us have been raised by females who act off emotion, or use emotion as a means of defense or even offense. So the destruction of the black father-son relationship is another clear sign of blacks are finished in the United States. If you have a son and you're not getting along with the mom, and you're not talking with the mom, because the society promotes this separation. They don't try to bring us together. In fact, I talk to people, they haven't talked to their children in years. You see, or they don't talk to the mom any kind of sit down seriousness for years. And every relationship needs closure, or you find yourself talking to yourself. And I know we do that, looking at a situation that happened in the past and then trying to relive it with what you know today. Uh, and these are the things uh, that the system that we live in America doesn't make accountable for us. I mean, some of us black men have been in so many tragedies. We need psychological help, and we think that's a weakness. But this is the case, and I'm saying when you move to modern Africa and you stay there, you come to find out how seriously psychologically damaged you are. Because I'm telling you, even today, I still have a lot of that psychological damage in me, and I have to really catch myself. So when I'm with my wife and something pops into my head, and I say, "Well, did you try to do this, or why did so and so do that?" I listen to her reaction, and then I have to double check myself because a lot of it is because of fears and anxieties that I had built up in my failed relationships in the U.S. Mm-hmm. Today you're hearing me clearly, huh? Oh, another thing. Your mic is off. We
Okay,
can
yeah, I
hear
hear
you.
you clearly. I hear you clearly. That's
Yeah. Okay, I
perfect.
can hear you now.
Yeah, it's
All right.
perfect. But what we'll do, we'll go ahead and close out. Anything else you want to share in closing?
Okay. The chat room was quiet today, huh? Okay.
Yeah,
So,
it was.
um,
So
yeah. So, once again, I just wanted to point out the fact that my message is always clear because I know, like 5 or 10 years from now, I can come back on Dynasty Show and say, "You see, I told you the Titanic was gonna sink. See, I told you that Africa was the only solution." But many people didn't hear me. In 15 years, yeah, 15 years ago, 14 years ago, when I wrote my book, people didn't see it then, but now they're beginning to see that Africa is probably the only solution. And why ADOS? Why would you want to stop at slavery when you have a whole African continent and a whole African history on your side when you claim that you're an African? Okay? So those people that are seriously talking about getting an identity, stop having an identity crisis. You're not black. You're not a Negro. You just keep saying to yourself, "Me, I'm an African." Even if you feel like you got to adapt an African life, because who wouldn't want to stay with a winner? And the African is definitely a winner. He's the one who pushed the white man out of his country. He's the one who has developing African countries today. This is where you should be. And I'm a living example of it. And I know the haters are going to now try to figure out a way to figure out how they can show that I'm doing poorly. But I've been here 22 years, and I'm still singing the same song. This is the only solution, all your problems, to make that move to Africa. And I'm always available for people who have comments, or if they, because I'll be in the comment section right after this. If you have questions about, anything about how is it really in Africa. Like I said, I've been here, and I'm telling you from actual experience, doing business, raising a family, dealing with the economy, dealing with all aspects of African life, friends, families, even my children. So I can tell you exactly that that how it is, and we are more like Africans than any Hebrew Israelite, and there's no distinction between us and the African if we really do it. We've been changed by being in Western culture to be more violent and be more rude, but all that would change. And if you can't come to Africa, always think about putting your children in an African school here and let them adapt new African friends, and then uh, they could be far safer and have a better lifestyle chance in the future. So you can get me on Facebook, Black Man's Guide to Moving to Africa. It's a group, and you just search it, Black Man's Guide to Moving to Africa, and you'll find the group there. Please come and join us there. We always have very insightful articles about modern Africa, as well as the problems that are going on in the U.S.
I'm a
So,
Rahh.
Dennis, happy birthday again.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. I'm 37 today. 37 years young. 37 years.
Now that was the exact. You're the exact age I was when I came here.
Really? Oh wow.
I was 37 when I came here. So and you're like me. You're an athlete.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, when you come here, because when I came to Kenya when I was 37, it's like, and I was an American. I was like every woman was available to me.
Oh yeah.
You walk around, you can be like, I can get that one, I can have that one if she only knew. You see, I'm an American and an athlete. Oh, so yeah, man, you get on over here and get your lifestyle on. Because before you know it, you'd be like me, 60 something years old, and then like you'd be looking at your life and saying, I should have done.
Mm, mm. Well, brother Abarah, thank you so much for joining, man. I really, really appreciate it. And everybody in the chat room, thank you for joining us as well. Make sure you go to Search for Uhuru on Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, and Facebook. Also, like, share, subscribe if you're new to the platform. Until next time, family. Dynasty Mirror, Search for Uhuru. Grandmaster Abarah, peace.
Grandmaster, yeah, you've been skipping that part.
Yeah, Grandmaster Abarah, peace.